Once upon a time, in the village of Duru, humans and creatures lived side by side in harmony. Among them was a young girl named Obiora. She was known throughout the village for her striking beauty and serene, gentle nature. The villagers admired her not just for her appearance, but for her kindness as well. Men from all around the village would often try to win her heart, saying, "Obiora, you are so lovely. Will you marry me?" But Obiora always responded with the same sweet smile. "Thank you, but I'm not ready." Every day, Obiora made her way to the bustling market, where she sold the freshest fruits and vegetables. Her produce was the finest in the village, and everyone enjoyed buying from her. Yet, despite her daily presence, no one knew where Obiora lived. She arrived early and left before the sun dipped below the horizon, keeping her home shrouded in mystery. Villagers would whisper to one another, "Where does Obiora go? Where does she live?" But Obiora kept this part of her life to herself. She was content being kind and helpful, but shared little about her personal life. And so, Obiora remained a quiet presence in Duru, admired by all, yet cloaked in a veil of secrecy. The villagers continued to speculate about the beautiful girl who drifted in and out of their lives like a soft breeze. One bright afternoon, a handsome young man named Ama arrived at the market in search of fresh fruits and vegetables. When he laid eyes on Obiora, he was captivated. "She is the most beautiful girl I've ever seen," he thought. Unable to resist, he approached her and said, "Hello, my name is Ima. What's yours?" Obiora smiled kindly and replied, "I'm Obiora. How can I help you today?" Ima, thrilled to speak with her, bought some fruits and lingered, making small talk. They spoke of simple things, the weather, the village, the market, and Emma was completely enchanted by her soft voice and gentle smile. From that day on, Emma came to the market every day, eager to see Obiora. They became fast friends, and as time passed, Emma realized he was falling in love. One evening, as the market was closing and the sky began to darken, Emma noticed Obiora packing up her goods. Worried about her safety, he offered, "Let me walk you home. It's not safe to go alone in the dark." Obiora hesitated for a moment, but Emma insisted. Eventually, she agreed, and they started their walk. As they made their way down the path, the sky grew darker, and a chill filled the air. Suddenly, Emma felt an icy hand brush against his back. He whipped around but saw nothing. His heart raced, a deep unease settling over him. Obiora, however, walked calmly ahead, unfazed by the darkening night. Emma's fear grew, and he finally stopped. "Obiora," he said nervously, "I think I should go back. It's getting too dark." Obiora turned to him, her expression gentle as she softly replied, "It's okay, Emma. You can go back if you're scared." She smiled at him, but the chill in the air seemed to deepen. Without another word, Emma nodded, fear gripping him. He turned and hurried back towards the village, running as fast as his legs could carry him until he reached the safety of his home. From that night on, Emma never returned to the market to see Obiora. The memory of the cold hand in the dark night haunted him. Obiora missed his visits, but she continued her peaceful, quiet life in Duru. The villagers, puzzled by Emma's sudden absence, whispered among themselves, but no one ever discovered the secret of what had happened that night. Obiora harbored a secret. She was not just any girl from the village. She hailed from the deep, mystical forest beyond Duru. In that enchanted forest, Obiora lived with her family, who were not human. They possessed the ability to transform into various forms, yet Obiora was the only one who could consistently appear as a human. Her family cherished her deeply, but they had always cautioned her against forming bonds with humans. "Obiora," they would say, "you must not marry a human. Our worlds are too different." Their protectiveness was palpable. When Emma began to frequent the market, Obiora's parents grew anxious. They feared that she might fall in love with him and be pulled into a world they wished to keep her away from. To dissuade Emma, they resorted to a trick. The cold hand that had brushed against his back was their doing, intended to drive him away from Obiora. The trick deeply saddened Obiora. She had grown fond of Emma and longed for friendships among the villagers. She was weary of living under her family's strict rules and yearned for the freedom to make her own choices. Resolute, Obiora decided to sever her ties with her family and make Duru village her permanent home. One day, Obiora ventured into the heart of the forest to bid farewell to her family. "I love you," she said, her voice tinged with sadness, "but I wish to live my own life. I want to be free to make my own choices." Her parents, though heartbroken, respected her decision. They offered one last piece of advice. "Be cautious, Obiora. The world outside can be unforgiving." With a heavy heart, Obiora left the forest behind and settled in the village for good. She hoped to find happiness and perhaps even love among the humans. As she continued her market routine, she kept her origins a secret. To the villagers, she remained simply the beautiful and kind girl from the market, unaware of the magical world she had left behind. After parting ways with her family, Obiora felt a mix of liberation and apprehension. Determined to ensure she would not be drawn back into her family's world, she sought out Abiri's shrine. Abiri was a powerful spirit, known for aiding those who sought a new path in life. Obiora approached the shrine and knelt before Abiri's altar. With a soft yet resolute voice, she addressed the spirit. "Great Abiri, I wish to sever all connections with my family. I desire to live freely in Duru village, unbound by their control." Abiri appeared, emanating a gentle glow, and listened to Obiora's plea. The spirit nodded in understanding and responded, "I hear your wish, Obiora. I will grant you the freedom you seek, but be warned, your family will not be pleased. They may attempt to curse you in an effort to bring you back." Obiora, her resolve unwavering, nodded in agreement. "I understand. I am ready to proceed," she said firmly. Abiri raised a hand and, with a delicate gesture, severed the bond between Obiora and her family. True to Abiri's warning, when her family realized they had lost their connection with Obiora, they were enraged. Her mother, in a fit of anger and sorrow, cast a curse upon her. Whispering to the winds, she declared, "May you never find joy with a human. May despair follow you wherever you go." Despite the curse, Obiora remained in Duru, continuing her life in the village with unwavering determination. She persisted with her market stall, selling her fruits and vegetables, and interacting with the villagers. The shadow of the curse loomed over her, but she hoped to find love and a sense of belonging. Obiora was resolute in her desire to live freely, facing any challenges that came her way with grace and kindness. She dreamed of meeting someone who could look beyond the curse and see her for who she truly was. One day, a renowned merchant named Kalu arrived in Duru village. He journeyed from village to village, selling exquisite cloth and beautiful garments. Kalu was known for his friendly and charming demeanor, winning the affection of many wherever he went. When he encountered Obiora at the market, he was immediately struck by her beauty and grace. "Who is this enchanting girl?" he wondered. Kalu approached Obiora with a warm smile. "Hello, I'm Kalu. I travel around selling fine cloth. You must be Obiora, the girl everyone speaks of," he said. Obiora returned his smile and replied, "Yes, that's me. It's a pleasure to meet you, Kalu." Kalu was captivated by her gentle voice and kind eyes. He began visiting the market more frequently, always making a point to stop by Obiora's stall. Their conversations were filled with laughter, and Kalu found himself falling deeply in love with her. To him, Obiora was not only beautiful, but also sweet and kind-hearted. After some time, Kalu decided he wanted to marry Obiora. Filled with excitement, he said, "Obiora, I have come to care for you deeply. Will you marry me and come live with my family?" Obiora, who had been cautious about love due to her past experiences, felt a glimmer of hope. She agreed to meet Kalu's family. Kalu was overjoyed and took her to his village to introduce her to his parents. Upon their arrival, Kalu's mother regarded Obiora with a skeptical frown. She had heard rumors about Obiora's mysterious background and the peculiar events surrounding her. "This girl is beautiful," she thought, "but there's something unsettling about her." After conversing with Obiora, Kalu's mother remained unconvinced. "I'm sorry, Kalu," she said firmly, "but I cannot trust this girl. There is a curse surrounding her, and she is not suitable for our family." Kalu was stunned and heartbroken. He cherished Obiora deeply, but he respected his parents' wishes. With a heavy heart, he turned to Obiora and said, "I'm sorry, Obiora. My mother does not approve of our marriage. I must honor my family's decision." Obiora's heart ached. She had hoped Kalu would overlook the curse, but she understood his position. With tears in her eyes, she nodded and quietly left Kalu's home, returning to Duru village burdened once more by the weight of the curse. Though she felt sorrowful, Obiora continued her life in Duru with resilience. She still harbored hope that one day someone would be able to love her despite the curse. She remained strong, maintaining her kindness and gentleness even when her heart felt heavy. More than ever, Obiora felt a deep sadness. She was tired of being pushed away, misunderstood, and weighed down by the curse. Desperate for a solution, she decided to return to the shrine of Abiri, hoping that the powerful spirit would grant her the peace she so desperately sought. Obiora approached the shrine, her heart heavy with longing. She knelt before Abiri's altar, her voice trembling with emotion as she pleaded, "Great Abiri, the curse placed upon me has brought nothing but pain. Please, help me lift it, so I can find happiness and be free from this burden." A soft, glowing light filled the shrine, and from it emerged Abiri, the spirit's presence gentle, yet powerful. "Obiora," Abiri's voice was calm. "You have suffered much because of this curse. I can lift it, but there is a condition. You must keep your heart calm and pure. Anger will bring the curse back, stronger than before." Obiora's heart leaped with hope. "I promise, Abiri," she vowed eagerly. "I will remain calm, and I will never let anger take hold of me. Please lift the curse." With a wave of Abiri's hand, a warm breeze enveloped Obiora, lifting the weight of the curse from her shoulders. She felt a surge of freedom wash over her, as though her very soul had been unshackled. Obiora thanked Abiri with all her heart and returned to Duru village with a newfound sense of hope. Life in the village resumed as usual, though now Obiora carried herself with a renewed grace. She sold her goods in the market, greeting her neighbors with a calm and gentle spirit. The villagers, though unaware of the curse that had once plagued her, admired her for her beauty and serenity. One warm afternoon, as Obiora sat by the village stream, lost in thought, she felt the familiar weight of loneliness creep in. Despite her newfound freedom, the ache of wanting someone to share her life with lingered. As she sat in silence, a kind voice broke through her thoughts. "Are you all right?" Obiora looked up to see a man standing by the water, his face gentle and his smile warm. "I'm Chidubem," he said, stepping closer. "You seemed lost in thought. I wanted to make sure you were okay." Obiora felt a warmth in his kindness and nodded. "I'm Obiora," she replied softly, grateful for his concern. They talked for a while, and to her surprise, Obiora found herself opening up to him. Chidubem listened with care, never prying, but always offering comfort in his presence. In the days that followed, Chidubem and Obiora began meeting regularly by the stream. They shared stories, laughed, and enjoyed each other's company. Chidubem never questioned her past, but simply valued who she was in the present, and this made Obiora feel safe in his presence. One day, as they sat by the water, Chidubem turned to her, his voice sincere. "I care about you, Obiora. You are a wonderful person, and I want to be with you." Obiora was taken aback by his words, a mix of emotions flooding her: hope, fear, and happiness. She hesitated, memories of her curse and the pain she had endured holding her back. But Chidubem's sincerity broke through her walls. "I've been through so much," she finally admitted, her voice tinged with uncertainty. "Are you sure you want to be with me?" Chidubem nodded, his gaze steady and full of affection. "I'm sure, Obiora. Let's build a life together." And so, their bond grew stronger. Chidubem treated Obiora with respect and care, and she found herself falling for him. Eventually, Chidubem proposed, wanting to share his life with her. With a heart full of joy, Obiora accepted, and they began planning their wedding, dreaming of a future filled with love and happiness. For the first time in a long while, Obiora felt hope bloom within her. The village buzzed with excitement for the upcoming wedding, and Obiora couldn't help but feel a warm glow of happiness, believing that this would be the start of a beautiful new chapter in her life. The day of Obiora and Chidubem's wedding finally arrived. bringing a sense of anticipation to Duru village. The village square was adorned with vibrant flowers and colorful banners, creating a festive atmosphere. Villagers gathered to celebrate, dancing, singing, and reveling in the joyous occasion. Under the warm sun, Obiora and Chidubem exchanged their vows, surrounded by the cheers and blessings of the community. Obiora looked radiant in her exquisite dress, while Chidubem beamed with happiness. They promised to love and cherish each other, and the air was filled with joy and contentment. It was a perfect day, and the village shared in the love and happiness that enveloped the newlyweds. As night fell, the newlyweds settled into their new home, eager to begin their life together. Yet as they prepared to rest, an unsettling change began to occur. Obiora felt a strange discomfort. Her body seemed to shift, and a cold shiver ran down her spine. She glanced at Chidubem, her eyes filled with concern. Without warning, her legs fused together, her skin turned scaly, and before they could react, she transformed into a massive python. Chidubem's eyes widened in shock and horror. The sight of Obiora, now a gigantic snake, was beyond his comprehension. Her mournful gaze did little to calm his fear. Overwhelmed, Chidubem screamed and fled the house, stumbling through the village and calling for help. The villagers, alarmed by his frantic cries, gathered around their home. They saw Chidubem, pale and disoriented, gesturing towards the house. Cautiously, they approached, only to be met by the sight of the giant python slithering from the doorway. Gasps of fear and confusion rippled through the crowd. They had never encountered such a creature before. Some of the elders murmured, "Is this the curse we've heard about?" What had begun as a joyous celebration turned into a night of dread and bewilderment. The villagers, torn between their fear of the massive snake and their memories of the kind Obiora, stood silent in the now quiet village square, which had been alive with music and laughter just hours earlier. In a bid to understand the terrifying turn of events, the elders decided to call upon the oracle. The village was abuzz with speculation and anxiety as they awaited the oracle's arrival. When the revered figure finally appeared, the villagers gathered in the square, their whispers filled with concern for Obiora and the monstrous python she had become. The oracle, a wise and respected figure known for unraveling the village's mysteries, asked Obiora to come forward. Slowly, the giant python made its way to the center of the gathering. With a deep, sorrowful sigh, Obiora spoke, her voice resonating with melancholy despite her serpentine form. "I am Obiora," she began, her voice clear but tinged with sadness. "I come from a family in the forest, where I am the only one who can maintain a human form. My parents, fearing that a union with a human would bring trouble, tried to scare away anyone who approached me. Yet, I longed for a normal life, for love and happiness like anyone else. I chose to sever my ties with them, but they cursed me, vowing that I would never find true happiness with a human." The villagers listened intently, their fear giving way to sympathy. They had always known Obiora as a kind and gentle soul. The elders exchanged looks of understanding, and the oracle nodded solemnly, acknowledging the truth in her words. The oracle then turned to Chidubem. "Chidubem, do you have anything to say?" the oracle asked gently but firmly. Chidubem, still trembling and filled with shame, stepped forward. He hesitated under the oracle's unwavering gaze, then spoke in a quivering voice. "Yes, I have a confession to make," he said. "I was drawn to Obiora because of her beauty and kindness, but I had ulterior motives. I intended to use her to gain wealth and power. My plan was to take her money and abandon her once I had what I wanted." A murmur of shock swept through the crowd. The villagers were stunned by Chidubem's confession, having always regarded him as a benevolent man. The elders looked at him with disapproval, and the oracle sighed deeply, reflecting the gravity of the revelation. "You planned to betray Obiora's trust and exploit her for your own gain," the oracle said sternly. "This is a serious transgression. Obiora sought nothing more than a normal life and love, but you viewed her merely as a tool for your ambition." Chidubem lowered his gaze in shame, unable to face the villagers. The truth had come to light, casting a heavy shadow over everyone present. The oracle and the elders now faced the task of deciding the next course of action. The villagers, their hearts weighed down by the revelation, watched intently as they awaited the oracle's judgment. After a long and somber pause, the oracle spoke with resolute clarity. Obiora desired a life of peace and love, while Chidubem sought only to exploit her for his gain, the oracle began. In this world, actions carry consequences. Chidubem, you cannot escape the repercussions of your deceit and intentions. The oracle's gaze turned sternly toward Chidubem, who stood trembling. You cannot be freed from Obiora, the oracle declared. You must remain with her as her husband. This is the consequence of your treachery and the lesson you must learn. You sought to use her, but now you will live with the person you intended to betray. This is your punishment. A wave of murmurs swept through the crowd. The villagers were stunned by the oracle's pronouncement. The verdict was unexpected, and many felt deep sympathy for Obiora, who had endured so much. Uncertainty clouded their thoughts regarding Chidubem's fate. Nevertheless, they respected the oracle's wisdom, understanding that the judgment was both fair and just. Chidubem looked utterly devastated. The gravity of his actions and their resulting consequences struck him profoundly. He cast a sorrowful glance at Obiora, still in her python form, her eyes reflecting sadness and resignation. Chidubem understood that he had no choice but to accept the oracle's decision. This union must now stand as a reminder of the importance of honesty, respect, and true intentions, the oracle proclaimed. Chidubem and Obiora will depart from Duru village together. They must face the trials that lie ahead as they seek a new path, wherever it may lead. The villagers nodded, comprehending the gravity of the oracle's pronouncement. They recognized that Chidubem's punishment served not only as a consequence for him, but as a valuable lesson for everyone about the repercussions of deceit and the essence of genuine love. With the oracle's decree delivered, the assembly concluded with a solemn atmosphere. The villagers began to disperse, murmuring among themselves about the day's dramatic events. Chidubem and Obiora, bound by the oracle's judgment and the threads of fate, prepared to leave the village. The road ahead was fraught with difficulty and uncertainty, but they knew they had to face it together. The village of Duru would remember this tale for many years to come, a story of love tested by betrayal and the quest for redemption.